Actually, I have to say good evening, Chairman Marabella, ladies and gentlemen, for the whole board, because right now we're in something that is unprecedented, because this is not on the agenda. This is not on the agenda, so I mean nobody can really talk about it because the public is not even aware of it. I appreciate Mr. Pelletier reading it twice, and I'll tell you right now he's going to have to read it a third time, because on this agenda, nothing is on this. You didn't vote on the budget the first time, yet you're planning to vote on the budgeted amendment. So it's totally out of order, and I just want to point that out to you. And I'll tell you, I mean, we got major problems here this year in the legal budget, because I told you the finance chairs on both sides of the equation. You didn't have any budget hearings with the directors where the public could actually listen. It's like totally wrong. This is totally wrong. I mean, I do want to speak on this, but I cannot because there's no agenda. I'm standing up here just to tell you this, that this is illegal. It's illegal.
Well, I disagree.
No, you're wrong. You show me on the agenda. You show me this on the agenda, what you just did. Show it to me on the agenda, if you think it's all right.
Mr.
Chairman, there was a duly noticed public hearing that was advertised on dates that the clerk mentioned earlier. It specifically set forth the time and place of the meeting, and that the meeting, the public hearing, the purpose of the hearing was to take public comment on the budget amendment. That's
Public notification, I'm not going to disagree. I'm not going to disagree. However, right now I have two agendas. Neither of them talk about this. There's obviously no agenda for what we are sitting here talking about.
It's the public hearing on the amendment.
Where? Show me a piece of paper here that the public has access to that could come up here and understand what's going on. I don't understand what's going on.
There are numerous copies of the budget amendment, which is the only matter subject to the public hearing.
Well, is this a special meeting? What is this meeting?
In effect, it is.
Well, then why don't you have an agenda if that says special meeting? We're talking about something illegal here. I mean, I have plenty to talk about. I mean, I'll go get my notes and I'll proceed, and you can throw me out. But I'll tell you right now, you're wrong, and it's illegal.
Well, that's your opinion. You're entitled to it.
Yeah, I know. You guys obviously control the judges, control the prosecutor, control whatever it is. So, I mean, you can create whatever rules you want. It's your ball. It's your field. I'm sitting here pointing out that you got a major flaw here. And, I mean, you're going to go ahead and obviously vote on this and agree to it, you know, because I've already told you the reason why. But, I mean, at this point, it's illegal. It is illegal. The public has no piece of paper to pick up there. They pick up the budget. I'm not going to deny that. They pick up the amendment. But there is nothing that tells me that this is even a meeting. This is on the meeting.
So if you had a piece of paper that said we were going to talk about the budget amendment,
that says special meeting, I guess. Yeah. Or on this on the agenda setting meeting, but that would be wrong too. To tell you the truth, this is a special meeting, obviously. And that's what you should have. The agenda is that special meeting.
This meeting was advertised properly.
Where's the agenda hand out to the public?
Really? That's what you're talking about?
Point of order. I'm talking about point of order.
This is what you're going to take time to
It boils down to, no. I'm pointing out that right now, this is illegal.
I don't agree. And
well, then I'm going to get my notes, and then I'll talk about things. And you can throw me out when the time comes.
You used a lot of time that you had allocated for this amendment. You're not going to have much time, Mr. Patterson.
Well, then throw me out.
Okay. If you want to be thrown out, you can just walk out. It's fine.
Yeah, okay. Miss Renner did it one time. I'll do the same thing. I mean, you know.
Throw yourself out.
Yeah, right. I said, well, because I'll tell you right now, this is not a government. This is not a government. This is just an off-the-cuff, fly-by-night.
Well, I disagree.
Well, of course you're going to disagree. You're part of the problem. You are part of the problem. And the rest of them. I mean, some of them is fine.
Thank you for your comments. Your time is up.
Okay, we're here to talk about the budget. You didn't vote on the budget, so I can continue to talk on the budget. You didn't vote on the budget, did you, or not? No, you didn't.
No, we were voting on it in the next meeting.
then the public can speak on it. If you're voting on it, then the public can speak.
The public hearing for the budget happened.
And you're going to vote on it this time, so now the public can speak. If you didn't vote on the budget, the public can still speak on the budget. There's another point of order.
The meeting is.
This whole show is like, I'm just amazed at it. I'm sitting here, I'm going to speak on it. You can have the officers, here comes one now, hello, sir. And you can throw me out. And I don't even get to say anything except that it's illegal. And you should be ashamed of yourself. And I just hope this is being recorded, because I'll tell you right now, Trenton's going to hear about this.
Okay. I'm comfortable we did everything in accordance with the law. If you feel otherwise, that's your prerogative.
All right.
Thanks for coming forward.
Thank you. And I take it I'm being thrown out.
If that's how you view it, it's fine. You have to sit down now. If you don't sit down, you're going to
Then
have
you
to
guys
ask
be
to leave.
thrown out. But, you know, I didn't
You
even
want to
get
make
to
it
speak on
finding
this
that
budget. I
you're
didn't get to speak
thrown out of
on
the
the
meeting, then
amendment.
you can make that. But you have to leave the podium now.
You're leaving it up to me, I take it.
You have to, your comment time is up, and you have to sit down, and you won't be thrown out. If you want to stand there and keep talking.
If everything's out of order and illegal, then I mean, this whole process doesn't make a bit of difference. You know, you can't throw me out. Because
It's enough. It's enough.
I'm going to sit down.
Perfect. All right, is there anyone else that wishes to speak on the budget amendment? Please come forward.
Yeah, John Burry, Kenilworth. Kind of just got here. Is this the agenda meeting or the regular meeting?
This is a special meeting on the budget hearing for the amendments. The public meeting for the amendment on the budget.
So it's neither the agenda nor the regular.
That's correct. That I explained up front that we will have this hearing first on the amendments, the agenda meeting, and then the regular meeting.
Okay, so there's no handout for this thing, and it's not being recorded, I guess?
Yeah, Mr. Barry, please.
As far as I know, it's being recorded, and it is a public hearing on the budget amendments. There is a handout. There are numerous handout, copies of them back there, which is the budget amendment and the budget that was introduced on May 31st. That's the handout.
Still plenty back there. Okay, so this is a special meeting, not on the budget,
It
but
is a
just,
public hearing, not a special meeting.
it's a public hearing only on this amendment, not on the budget.
That's correct.
Okay. And this is what was read just before, I guess.
Correct. And it was posted on the website. Is that right, Mr. Clerk?
That's correct.
Okay. And advertised properly by law.
All right, so my question doesn't involve this, I'll have to wait. There's nothing in here on the open space money, I guess? I just glanced through and I didn't see it.
No?
Okay, I don't have any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Barry. Anyone else wishing to speak, please come forward. Okay, I'll close that portion of the meeting. And I will ask for a motion to adjourn this public hearing on the budget amendment. Pardon me? Yeah, I closed the public hearing already. We need a motion to close the public hearing? Or just... So the public hearing is closed. And may I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved. Second.
Moved by Fielder Kowalski and seconded by Fielder Scanlon. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you. We're going to be moving now into our agenda meeting. And I'll ask the clerk, I will be opening the meeting to the public for comments on the amendments to the budget in the regular meeting. So I just wanted to note that. I think that's a point that I wanted to raise and bring forward. Okay? So with that, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Fielder Scanlon, seconded by the Vice Chairman. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. We're going to take about a 5-minute break and then come back for our recommended. And I'll invite Previous to moving forward, I'll invite the Finance Chairman for 2012, Field Sullivan, to make some comments.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Tonight, after an extraordinary review of the 2012 budget this past 6 months, we are set for final adoption. And I'm sure by now we are all well aware of the $36 million deficit we faced at the beginning of this year and some of the significant measures we took to close this gap. This huge deficit was fueled in part due to rising mandated costs, a reduction in state revenues, and a decline in property tax ratables. As a result, we embarked on a comprehensive plan to close the gap. The plan included cutting costs, layoffs, program reductions, and revenue maximization. We initiated such program reductions that included canceling Music Fest and Rhythm and Blues by the Brook, as well as Kids Kingdom. The Freeholder Board, County Manager, and Department Directors are taking a 3-day voluntary salary reduction, equivalent to what 3 unions have already accepted. And we deferred salary increase for 632 exclusionary employees, many of whom are in their 5th year without an increase. We initiated a hiring freeze for non-essential employees, reformed our prescription drug program, and are moving towards a new health provider effective July 1st. We have maintained a voluntary furlough program, and we achieved hundreds of thousands of dollars in savings through the County Manager's Efficiency Task Force. And finally, we were forced to make 2 rounds of workforce reductions totaling 280 employees. A combination of approximately 44 layoffs and retirements were effective on May 1st, and well over 100 layoffs and retirements occurred on June 1st. We held over employment of 101 workers from Runnels, who had been laid off on June 1st until August 31st as we worked to privatize the dietary, housekeeping, and housekeeping services through competitive contracting and the laundry services through public bidding. And as I reported on May 31st, the State Department of Community Affairs approved our efforts to refinance a portion of our debt. The numbers are now in, and this will help us realize approximately $1.8 million in revenues for this year. Approximately $800,000 will be retained for budget surplus, while $1 million will be used to help maintain important health, consumer protection, and safety net services. We have concluded discussions with our unions and are pleased to report that through the cooperation of the CWA, we were able to rescind 2 layoffs for social service workers as the union voluntarily agreed to voluntary furloughs. Finally, the budget gap has been officially closed, meeting the state cap on spending. This year's approximately $488.9 million budget will increase property taxes by an average of $90 per household. And as I mentioned on previous occasions, we continue to look at this budget process as a 12-month process. And we are working to implement reforms in several other areas the county manager identified for reform in his executive budget. We requested and received permission from the Division of Local Government Services to examine privatizing the operations of the jail through competitive contracting, and we are developing strategies for an RFP. As I previously referenced, we are privatizing certain services at Runnels. And similar to what we do with our juvenile detention center, we are also exploring options to lease unused portions of the hospital for revenue. In closing, I would like to thank our fiscal committee, the staff, and the directors for their efforts this year. This has certainly been one of the most difficult budget seasons in recent memory, with many tough choices which had to be agonized over time and time again. Given the fragile condition of New Jersey's economy, we must continue to maintain our budgetary progress. We remain committed to acting in a fiscally prudent manner to promote our quality of life, which continues to rank Union County as one of the finest places to live and raise a family in New Jersey. Mr. Chairman, I thank you for your time today.
Yes, thank you, Field Sullivan. I applaud your efforts. The public hearing for the 2012 Union County budget, as introduced, was published on May 14th and subsequently held on May 31st. The public hearing for the 2012 Union County budget amendments, published on June 6, 2012, was subsequently held early this evening at 7 o'clock. At this time, though, I will open the meeting to the public to provide another opportunity to comment on the budget amendment only. So the meeting is now open to the public for the purpose of commenting on the budget amendments. Glad you're coming up, Mr. Patterson.
Good evening, Chairman Marabella, ladies and gentlemen of the Freeholder Board, Bruce Patterson Garwood. I do appreciate you offering the second shot at discussing the amendments. However, not to revisit what happened earlier, but you did not vote on the budget, so therefore you cannot vote on the budget as amended. Because if you didn't vote on the budget, that means that the budget as amended is actually the original budget. So at this point, I'm not going to read my notes. I mean, it's just, I mean, you know, well, let me do a commentary, and it'll be reasonably good. I mean, I do appreciate the efforts that you have put forth over the years. You've heard me make many comments. I actually did have comments to read again, but you've heard them enough times. But I'm standing here, and you're saying it was so tough decisions and the amendments, and it looks like you actually have additional revenues, which is good. And I appreciate that. For some reason, $800,000 went to the additional salaries, which I said I was going to actually ask about. And I guess since I did say I was going to ask about it, somebody must be prepared to answer it, so I'll let whoever it is answer that question. But again, we're faced with something that is totally out of order. And being out of order, we're now in illegal grounds again. You did not vote on the budget, so therefore you cannot vote on the budget as amended. So, but I guess I would like to at least hear why $800,000 was put back on into the salaries and wages. Thank you.
Okay. All right, Mr. Patterson, when we do vote on the budget, later on, it will be voting on the budget as amended. So, I don't know if that clears it up for you, but that's what it will be. I'll ask Director Taylor to come forward if she can speak on this. Dollars go back into salaries. You know, want to ask her to give her the call.
Through you, Mr. Chair. The various amendments as they speak to salary and wage lines are to accommodate restoring various programs and services that we previously cut in order to balance the budget. Since that time, we did receive approval from the Department of Community Affairs Division of Local Government Services to realize approximately $1 million of additional revenue in this year's budget as a result of refinancing various bonds. That $1 million went to restore programs such as the SLAP program, Security at Park Madison, the Car Seat Safety program, various programs at Rutgers Cooperative, as well as Shade Tree services, and other areas within those departments that are itemized in the budget amendment. Additionally, we did put in some other expense monies into the budget for, again, Rutgers Co-op and some of the other departments. These are just restoring some cuts that we previously had to make, and once we realized the revenue, we're restoring them.
Okay, good. Thank you, Director. Anyone else wants to come forward? Please do so.
Okay, John Burry, Kenilworth. And I had a chance to look over this, and three things popped up. First, on 8A, miscellaneous revenues, something that says UCIA sale of asset, $1 million. If you could just explain that. I mean, is the county buying something from UCIA? What is the asset? $1 million seems like a round number. And then the second thing is a little couple pages down, sheet 12. It says the aid to Union County Improvement Authority of $600,000. I mean, it's changed. The reason it's in here, it's now administrative support. It used to be administrative support. Now it says aid to Union County Improvement Authority. Just seems odd. You know, what's the reason for the change? And what's the point of getting $1 million when you're giving $600,000 back? Is there any reason for that? And then the third thing is on the county budget, special studies and initiatives. It goes from 200 to 325. Now this is where you hit the Music Fest money. It was $950 for a long time going back. And when Music Fest disappeared, this $950 went to 200. So 200 went to 320. Does this mean there's a mini Music Fest coming, or what's the extra special study and initiative for the county manager's office? That's it.
All right, thank you, Mr. Berry. I'll ask Director Taylor to come forward and speak on that.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. With regard to the miscellaneous revenue, the sale of the asset, essentially that is monies that we realize as a result of various local finance board applications, and it's clearly itemized as the $1 million that I previously spoke to earlier to restore various services and programs within the budget. The amendment, as it speaks to for the UCIA, the $600,000, is essentially just a description change. Under the statute, I believe it's 48, 11-37. It essentially allows us to provide administrative support to the UCIA, and it's just clearly describing that as it is. It is not a new item of appropriation. Point in fact, it's just a clarification on description. The additional revenue in the other expense category for the county manager's office is to essentially provide monies for the HART grant that we previously provided, and again restoring those monies, as well as various initiatives through the office of the county manager. It is not for a mini music fest. It is again to restore various programs and scholarships that we've provided.
All right, thank you, Director.